Hello and welcome to this quick demo of FireModule's ITM management software. Today we're just going to take a few minutes to show you the basics of the software. If you're familiar with other tools like Brycer's Compliance Engine, Live, iRoll, we offer what those competitors offer, but unlike those other competitors, we are also free for building inspectors and building owners in your community. So all of us, Brycer, iRoll, Live, Fire Module, we're all free for fire departments, but Fire Module's defining characteristic is that unlike other competitors, we are also free for those in your community. So today I'm just going to walk you through, take a few minutes to show you the basics of our software. We wanted to make it as simple as possible. So you'll see here in a moment that everything you can do in Fire Module is very simple to do. So we're a web-based application, meaning that nobody has to download anything on their computer. They simply go to the URL, log in, and then that will present us with a dashboard to manage the ITM reports. So the dashboard is very simple, consists of three tabs. The first tab is this pending reports tab here. There's also a premise tab and a service providers tab we'll get into in a moment. But this pending reports tab is where most of your work will be done. We have each of these rows, and each of these rows represent a report that's come in. You can view the building address and the owner's phone for the report. You can also remove the report if it's not under your jurisdiction. The system that was inspected, the inspection frequency for that system. If you go ahead and click on that, you can see some more granular details like when the system was inspected, when that report was submitted, information about the service provider that actually did the report. And then you can pull up reports that are associated, any PDFs that are associated with that report. Just click on this icon. This is a dummy example, but any PDF that the inspector uploads, you can view there. And then finally, you can approve it or mark it deficient. If you approve it, super easy. You just click approve. If it's deficient, you can actually go in and list this thing is bad. You can list the deficiencies associated with the system, and then when notifications are sent out, which we send out notifications after a system is marked deficient, then those deficiencies are included in that notification. So that's the pending reports tab. Super simple. You're just looking at the reports, approving them, or marking them deficient. After a report is approved or marked deficient, it changes over here in the premise tab. This premise tab is basically just a list of the premises in your jurisdiction, or I should say of the commercial buildings in your jurisdiction. Here, like the other tab, you have the longer address, the building owner's phone. In the systems tab, you have the kind of systems that we're tracking at that premise. Similar to the other reports, you can click on this and view reports that have been submitted to that premise. But the coolest thing about this tab is the status column right here. A premise will either be pending, compliant, or non-compliant. And it's pretty straightforward. If it's pending, that just means it has an outstanding pending report on the pending tab that you have to approve or mark deficient before it actually changes to compliant or non-compliant. If it's compliant, that means all of the systems that are at that premise are good to go. They're not late. They've completed their inspection, passed their inspection in the time window, and it just gives you when that next inspection is due for that system. And then finally, if a premise is non-compliant, that's for one of two reasons. Either there's a system at that jurisdiction that has become past due. This kitchen hood suppression system is supposed to be tested, inspected every 6 months, but as of right now, it's almost 4 months past due, so it's a non-compliant system. The other reason it can change to non-compliant is that if it fails an inspection, so if you mark a report that comes in deficient on your dashboard, then that system will be marked non-compliant for that premise. For viewing ease, we also have some filters. Like if you wanted to pull up all your non-compliant premises, you could do that. You can filter by address. On the pending reports tab, you can also filter by systems and inspection dates. But that's the premise tab. You'll notice up here these three boxes. The first box is just the number of pending reports you have. That second box is the number of compliant jurisdictions that you have, or sorry, the number of compliant premises you have, and then the non-compliant is the number of non-compliant premises you have. So it just gives you a little overview of what's going on in your jurisdiction. Finally, there's this service providers tab, and that just gives you basic information about the service providers who have submitted reports to your jurisdiction. So you have the name, the systems that they do, their contact information, phone and email, and then any reports that they've submitted to your department. So those are the three tabs, very simple. Like I said, we wanted to make it as easy for fire chiefs, fire marshals to manage these ITM reports as they're coming in, and we wanted to give them, a good bit of information about what's going on in their jurisdiction. The last thing I should mention is this inspection type tab right here. This is how you control what kind of reports are coming in to your jurisdiction. So if you, right now we have basic ones like fire alarm, suppression system, hood suppression system, sprinkler system, and how often those inspections occur. But we have a number of other alarm or another of a number of other systems that if you would like to keep track of, you can simply add the system and then add how frequently you want those systems inspected and how frequently those reports should be submitted. And then it just gets added to your inspection types pool. If there's one you want to remove, super easy. You just click the X over here under the delete column, and it disappears. So that's the software in a nutshell, super simple, and compared to other competitors like Bricer, iRoll Live, it is also free to the community, whereas those other systems are not. So thank you for taking the time to view our software, and hopefully we can find a time to meet and maybe discuss implementing it. Thank you so much.